By now, you know Rueben Bain was absolutely a beast on Saturday night against the Florida Gators, and we're going to talk about how dominant this man was in this game against the Gators. Man, it was absolutely something that's was incredible to watch. He was seemingly on every play. He was named ACC Defensive Lineman of the Week. He was named. He had a ridiculous number for um, grading for by PFF College. His number was, I mean, his 44% win rate on rushes, 10, what was it? Let me see right here, 10 quarterback pressures, a 92.4% pass rush, 92.4 pass rush grade. I mean, this guy was just everywhere, man. Absolutely everywhere. Like I said, named ACC, one of the ACC Defensive Linemen of the Week, the the highest graded defender in Week 4 in the country, according to PFF College, 93.8. He's just doing it all. And there was a message from Josh Pate. He said on a tweet, I guess it was, it's pretty sad that he's probably that the Heisman, the guy that should win the Heisman Trophy through 4 weeks is not even in the conversation because he plays on the defensive side of the ball. And that's Rueben Bain. Rueben Bain should be a Heisman candidate right now. He should be leading the pack for the Heisman Trophy. He's been the best player in college football over the first 4 weeks. And as long as this young man stays healthy, I mean, it is quite possible that he will end up being the number one pick in next year's NFL draft. I wish he'd stay for another year, though, man. I'm a little bit want him to stay for one more year, but I gotta tell you, he's definitely a top 3 pick, but he very well could end up being the number one pick in the draft overall. And he had plenty to say about this game in the post game press conference. We're gonna play that for you, and then we're gonna give our comments because I just love what he had to say in this press conference. It was great. So take a listen if you haven't heard it yet. But be sure to stick around because I'm going to give my commentary on it after you listen to the press conference. Take a listen.
Start with you, Jordan.
Ruben just hold them over 13 on third down. Just you ever been part of a game that they do something like that to an offense?
Not that I remember, no. But I didn't realize that till I got told in the locker room. It was just God there playing football, honestly. Just listen to Coach Heisman practicing how we play, playing how we practice. I'm sorry. And next thing you know, we went for 13 on third down.
Go ahead, Brian.
Ruben, you guys played lights out to begin with, and they had their one drive where they scored. Then you guys came back and kind of showed how strong you are. Just talk about how resilient you guys are as a group to be able to come back after they score and shut them down again.
Very resilient. It's just a little hiccup. Football is football. They on scholarship too, so they gonna make some plays. But after that drive, we came back to the drawing board, came on the sideline, fixed everything, got our communication right, came out playing football like we supposed to play. Really, that wasn't supposed to happen, but it's football. We're gonna go to the next play, and we perfected it from here on out.
Go to Adam over here.
Ruben, I think you guys have talked kind of all through the season so far about how it's a privilege to get a chance to rush the passer. Obviously, had a lot of chances tonight. You guys were constantly in Lagway's face. Just what was working so well for you guys in the pass rush?
Um, Our talent, man. We going in. We work hard all week while practice with Coach JT, Coach D. Coach Heatherman. We scheme it up real well for us. Allow us to go in the game and just play our best ability, and that's what we did. There's nothing's different than what we do in practice. Honestly, we just get out of it every day, after every play we can.
Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, again, I want to go back to DJ Lagway. Last year at the end of that game, you looked pretty good for Florida. What was it that you were actually able to learn from last year that you applied to this game? Because this team came out from the outside like assassins when you stopped this team with 3 plays for lost yards.
Like I say, man, we just fly around, communicate, trusting our coaches. That's the same thing we do all week in practice. So when we get on Hard Rock, it's no different from what we do on Braintree. Just trusting our coaches to play football 100 miles per hour.
Go ahead.
Ruben, just talk about looking ahead, Florida State in 2 weeks. How do you get ready? First road game, and I mean that's going to be a huge, very rowdy atmosphere there. Huge game for them.
Just how do you guys, use the bye week to kind of get ready for that game?
Like you say, use the bye week. We just don't treat the bye week like it's just a week off. It's really just a work week for us to regather ourselves, see what we do good at, see what we do bad at, and come in with the mindset to have the one and no mentality. I mean, no matter who we play, we want to have a one and no mentality. Just the next person up, and no matter who's on the schedule, what we playing at, it could be a grocery parking lot, we're still gonna get each other.
Andrea?
Ruben, the amount that you were getting after DJ and hitting him, did you feel like that you guys were in his head?
You can say that. I feel like we did a little bit more, honestly. But yeah, you kind of can see some panic and a little bit of sting like that. But other than that, just flying around playing football, doing what D linemen do. I feel like as any quarterback, they're gonna have some kind of worry when you always got somebody in front of your face.
Knowing that you obviously want to win every rivalry game, but knowing that this was the last one against these guys in particular, and we've already heard Coach and some of your teammates talking about the hate for Florida, like how good does it feel that you got the win in the last scheduled one, and who knows what will happen again?
It feels good, man. Coach Cristobal told us it might be our last one playing in a little minute, so just had to go out and do what we do. Some guys on the team lost to Florida last year, some guys on the team beat Florida last year, so we all have mixed feelings, but the same goal and mindset coming into the week. And like we say, want to know every week. No matter on the schedule, but it's an in-state team. You know what it is.
Jordan? Good? No, you want to go ahead?
Hey, Ruben. So after the week 1 win, you had showed the article on 3 on your phone that you said was giving you motivation. So I was wondering, is that still saved, or is there something else that gave you motivation over the last few weeks?
That article not up, but there's some other stuff I got in my notebook. Some other stuff I got in my crib at my house. Just daily reminders to keep playing the way I play. Just playing fast, physical, playing with a reason behind it.
And then just going off of that, could you tell me a little about like ESV, monitor? You mentioned it earlier, just like that mindset or the motto that you guys go by.
ESV, man, coming in playing excited, soaring to the football and playing violent. You've seen in that first drive, everybody, when one person on the ball, it's probably about 5, 6, 7 orange jerseys running to the ball. And that's the way Coach Heisman coaches us. He wants all 11, so he's still working on that. But you come to the building excited every day. Every time the ball is thrown, hand it off, you swarm to the ball. And every time the ball is snapped, playing violent.
Gary, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, you guys were so dominant in the first half. They only had 1 first down the entire first half. And in the third quarter, they hit you for an 80-yard drive. What was the reaction in the defensive portion of the bench, and how did you guys kind of regroup and get it back together?
Well, it was a little confusion because we was going so good in the first half. That's just human nature. We're coming in, settling down, listening to our coaches again, and just knowing that that's the last drive. We off the field now. We're gonna have some new plays coming up. We got down, and we hunkered down, and we did the same thing we've been doing since the first half. Like the guys said, I don't think they have any third down conversions. Not that many first downs throughout the game. So just go in there and listen to Coach Heisman. Not doing more than what we do, just doing your job.
Good.
Ruben, with the history between Kamani McClain and Miami, did anybody inform Carson Beck if he was going to throw an interception? Kamani was the last person we needed to catch it.
No, man, nobody said no. I didn't even notice that. Honestly, I just grabbed my helmet and ran on the field. So that's crazy.
All right, we'll end it with Justice.
So, with the history of the U, violence on defense has always been one of the biggest things. Now that y'all are embracing this violence, just what does it mean to the locker room that y'all are just playing the smash mouth football and flying around?
I mean, it's a lot on that. No matter what the offense doing, the defense gonna come to play. No matter if they win it by a lot or they struggling a little bit, starting off slow. The defense from the first snap to the last, you playing violent, you playing fast, you playing physical. That's our motto. From the first whistle to the last, we're gonna play the same way. And if we get tired, we got somebody next up coming up that's gonna do the same thing, if not better. That's Coach Heisman mindset, ESV, man.
Awesome. We'll end it there. Thanks, Ruben.
Thank you.
ESV, 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 man. I got a Cadillac Escalade ESV. I think they should be all getting Cadillac Escalades because this excitement, swarming, and violence, and that's how they've been playing. I love what I'm hearing from Rueben Bain. If we get tired, there's a guy right behind us who can do the same job or better. God, man, that's how Miami got built, man. Where you can take out the starter and put in the backup, and the backup will do the exact same thing. That is how you develop, depth and a program, and how the program can be long standing and not just something like you're trying to rebuild it every single year with new players. And of course, it's always going to start with the recruits that you bring in as freshmen. It will always start right there. And, just listening to Rueben Bain, he's a real Hurricane. He's eating gator after the game. It's a Billy Napier special, he calls it. I thought that was hilarious. But Rueben Bain, man, he makes it so much fun to watch Miami Hurricanes football with how dominant he is. Just loved every second of it. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about, what Rueben Bain had to say. And of course, comment on how he played, because we all know he played great. But for you guys who have been Canes fans for 30, 40 years, is there a defensive lineman that he reminds you of? Because I know people like to get in this thing of we don't want to have the next so and so. We want the first this person. But at the end of the day, we're always making comparisons. We're always making the comparisons. And there's always going to be that guy who is the major reason for why there's a resurgence. If you look back, the guy who was the reason for the resurgence in the late 90s, there were two guys particular. One of them was Edgerrin James. This is obviously after probation. Miami wasn't very good. Butch Davis's time. Edgerrin James was one. The other one was Santana Moss. And Santana Moss never got to experience the national championship. Miami got screwed that year when should have been there, and they sent Florida State, despite having beaten Florida State, to play Oklahoma, if I recall correctly. And then, everyone knows that Miami would have smashed that Oklahoma team. But nonetheless, yeah, those Rueben Bain, as obviously I'm leaving the topic of what defensive lineman does he remind you of, he could be that guy that helps bring this program back to true prominence because he's born and bred and raised. He's a Dade County boy. He came from the 305. He's from the county of Dade, born and raised in the county of Dade. He's a true Hurricane, man. And I'm loving watching him play, and I'm going to relish this season because I know he's gone to the NFL draft next year. But, man, I'm going to love it. And, I think, do I have this? Yeah, I got it right here. Got myself a Rueben Bain mini helmet autographed. I got to get a big one, but I got my mini right there. This one on the right is Malachi Tony, and then that's Carson Beck over there. But yeah, folks, man, let me know y'all thoughts. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave a comment. Let me know what you think, man. I appreciate all y'all. This is Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.